before I start, of course, this is not going to be the scenario. This has never been the scenario at Universal Business School. And now the learners are thinking, what? So when I got to know that I have to do this, I was thinking, is it going to be difficult? Why? Because it's in the virtual world. Difficult because we don't know each other. Difficult because this is the first time I'm going to interact with you. Difficult because you don't know much about me. Difficult because maybe because I don't know about you. But guys, folks, let me tell you that it's not going to be difficult. It's going to be different, and that's a minimum promise. Now the next question on your mind is, what am I going to do to make it different, right? So trust me, I think you will witness, you will experience, this is not going to be a monologue. It is not going to be a one-way traffic, right? Otherwise, it will lead to congestion. So there is going to be a dialogue. I'll ensure that I give you ample opportunities to speak up and to understand how do you think and why do you think like that through this particular webinar. And before I start, of course, great if you can come on the video. And if you will keep yourself on mute, of course, you will be given an opportunity to speak. We have all gone through the learning curve of using Zoom, and I'm 100% sure this forum, we are going to maintain that decorum. So this is going to be a dialogue, is for sure. This session is going to be interactive. Now, how am I going to make it really magical? So there is going to be learnings, but not directly coming in from me, and I'm going to prove you that. And this is what we do at Universal Business School. So the first part, right? Why should you pay attention? Okay, fine. If I'm going to ask you questions, why should you even bother to answer? So guys, listen to this much before you come to the program, or even if you don't come, right? So we have wow cards with us, and let me tell you what are these wow cards, okay? So you need to collect 10 e-wow cards. Risha, along with my other colleagues, we are going to keep a track of who is answering first, right? First come, first serve, okay? When I say, please put your answers in the chat box. So please see to it that you follow the guidelines. When I say, oh, come on, off mute and then answer, then you need to follow that advice, okay? So all you have to do is, there will be a recognition through wow cards. So guys, if you collect 10 wow cards, one, you get a library. There is a personal library, so you get a book from my personal library. Second, when you come to UBS, let me say this, there will be a wine and dine. Of course, I will pay the bill. Don't get worried, okay? So you will have the opportunity to go with me to a fine dine restaurant, and that is where it will not just be wine and dine, it will also be some learnings from my end, which I will share with you, okay? But also remember what I expect. Winning is important, but not at the cost of compromising on your integrity and character. All you need to know is that at UBS, we are here to not just create the leaders of tomorrow. For example, even if this is getting recorded, let me not get worried. Let's say Vijay Mallya, he's also a leader, but not an ethical leader. Nirav Modi is also a leader, but not an ethical leader. So what I expect when I ask you a question, all I expect is you to demonstrate your creativity, and most importantly, not to outsource your brains to Google. Correct? This session is all about what you know and what is the gap. And that is how I'm going to help you bridge that, right? So you have to be innovative and most importantly, responsible. So please ensure that you are speaking one at a time. Okay? So this is going to be mapped by me, by Risha, and by the entire team. So can I start, Risha ma'am? Okay. So let me give you the first heartbreak. Okay. Thumb rule number 1, I will be the host and I am the ghost. I'll keep changing the rules, right? So don't ask me questions, okay? All you have to do is just answer it. Can I start? Now, what I expect for every question, I'll give you 5 seconds, okay? So the very first question coming in from my end, okay? All I'll do is, I'll explain you what this round is about, okay? I'll show you a product, which is a brand, and you have to match it to a parent organization. That means the organization that holds that particular product or is the owner of that particular brand or product. So the very first one, and you should not come off mute and answer, just text it. I repeat, the first one to answer would actually be eligible for a wow card. So brace yourself up, okay? The very first one, thumbs up. So all you have to do it is type it in the chat box, and remember, your spelling also needs to be correct. So thumbs up belongs to which parent organization? That's my question. So can I request you? Oh wow. So Risha ma'am, I'm connected to learners who have a great exposure to the outside world. Guys, 3 seconds to go. By the way, we don't have all the time in the world. Come on, quick. Go on, go on. Even if you're wrong, it's absolutely okay. There is no punishment for this. Fine. So let me stop at this. I did get a lot of responses. Either it was Pepsi or either it was Coca-Cola. Well, the right answer is what? Now let me take the cat out of the bag. It's Coca-Cola. Did anybody give it as right answer? Risha ma'am, if I can check with you, who was the first?
Yes, that was Ayush Shaw. Ayush.
Great. So Ayush, also please be known that I'm also known as a naughty professor at Universal Business School. You're not getting any wow cards. This was just a warm-up. I was just checking if everything is working fine. So 100%, thanks for confirming that the transition is working fine, the audio is working fine, the video is working fine. That was a warm-up. So let's start the game. Okay. Dettol. This brand we all have been experiencing for so long, but you need to put in the chat box which is the parent organization. And remember, your spelling also needs to be correct. Guys, your time starts now. Now let's look at this. Okay, I'm getting some great replies. Keep going on, keep going on. Not bad. Keep going on. 3 more seconds to go. 3 more seconds to go. Fine, great. Okay, time's up. Have a look. Wow, how branding works, right? We all know this particular brand, but none of us knew that it comes in from an organization known as Reckitt and Benckiser, a company that heavily spends on research and development. Correct? So many of you have put Hindustan Unilever Limited because we tend to believe that any product in the FMCG space belongs to a great company called either Hindustan Unilever Limited or Procter & Gamble or ITC. It's none. It's Reckitt and Benckiser. All I'm trying to say is that maybe you may get an opportunity to do your summer internship or CMAPs at UBS or maybe your placement. And what if you don't know about Reckitt and Benckiser? You may not apply. So that's your limited exposure to the outside world. Take my words, I can right now give you 50 companies you have never heard of. If I ask you which company you want to work for, you will say Amazon, you will say Google, you will say KPMG, but there are many other companies which are equally great. So all we are trying to do is create a great exposure to the outside world. Let me move the needle now. The next one, and be careful because I'm making a note, right? Classic. So this particular brand belongs to which parent organization? Come on. And you have only 3 seconds for this, by the way. Not even 5 seconds. Go on. Please go on. Go on. Good. Great. I love the learners. Risha ma'am, please make a note of all the students. I think they are revealing their secrets. Correct? They were so quick in answering this. Of course, right? No second thoughts. They were so fast. ITC Limited. Fine. Now, let me go on to the next one. What about Marlboro? This belongs to which parent organization? Come on, now you answer it. Okay, you have 3 more seconds to go. I can see very little movement now. Okay, this is again limited exposure to the outside world. So that organization is Philip Morris International. Again, right? Just trying to give you an exposure.
So,
yeah.
We have a winner here.
Okay, great. So what we will do, after we are done with a couple of rounds, we'll look into who are the students who are actually doing it. Okay, now, what about this? Pringles. I'm sure you love this brand. You have relished, correct? But this belongs to which parent organization? Anyone? Come on. Come on, move the needle. Wow. Richa ma'am, thank you for connecting me to these learners. I can see that. They are really interested. Okay, fine. So the answer is Kellogg's. It was once upon a time a brand under the portfolio of Procter & Gamble, but then later acquired by Kellogg's. Okay. So now the next round, because we are now done with what are these brands and which are the parent organizations, now comes the time for creativity. Guys, this is going to be awesome. And remember, I am a naughty professor. Okay, I'll play with your mind. So all I'm going to do is show you an image and then you need to tell me what brand or what company comes to your mind. Okay, so the very first one, and Richa ma'am, keep an eye on this, answer this one. Wow, that is so fast, super quick. The super quick generation, right? Clothing brand. Well, it cannot be clothing brand. It has to be a specific brand. But I appreciate at least you are participating. It's not about being right or wrong. Okay, fantastic. So yes, Richa ma'am, it's Arrow. Who was the first, if I can know from you? I'm sorry, I'm bothering you again and again.
This is Moksh. Moksh Parmar.
Moksh, again, no wow cards for this. You are right. I was just checking. Is still everything working fine? Moksh, thank you for confirming. Everything is just working fine. So now let me start with this round. Okay. What about this? You have 3 seconds. Come on, move the needle. You have already formed a positive impression on my mind, and I am sure the learners out here are willing to take that risk. Come on, come on, come on. Great. I will also be accessing the chat box at times. Very nice. Wow. Very nice. Yes, most of you are right. That is Facebook. Okay, that's the brand. Now let me take you to the next one. Okay, that is what I revealed. Okay, so you're not getting it. What about this? Come on, you have been playing a lot of logo quiz, I'm sure. Okay, so very nice. I have got answers like Java, CCD, Barista, Starbucks. But sometimes we should not be thinking that much, right? It is just limited thinking that works in life sometimes. Simple things are the most difficult at times in life. It's Nescafe. Okay, great efforts, but what about this? Ma'am, I don't think they need 3 seconds for this. I think in 1 second they can all answer. They're all close to the brand, by the way. Right? See, just look at the responses. Risha ma'am, just keep an eye on these learners when they come to UBS.
Yeah. So
we need to be watchful.
Yes,
correct?
Absolutely.
See, they are revealing all their secrets. Kingfisher, right? I don't think it is coming from experiential learning. Okay. By the way, let me take to the next one. What about this? Come on. Now you have to be super creative. Now you have to really be taking the risk. Yes, keep on going. Okay, fine, fantastic. I can see a lot of responses out there. Superb. So the responses I have got is Amazon Kindle. They were all thinking, oh, this is a naughty professor. We have to think differently, right? But now you're going to regret. You know what? I just repeated it. It's Facebook again. Okay, so be careful. All I'm trying to say is that don't lose your confidence. Don't put your guns down. Don't sometimes doubt yourself. Sometimes when you think what is first coming to your mind, I think that is sometimes the right way, the right answer, the right approach, or maybe a right strategy. Okay, so let's move on to the next round, which is identify the logo. And here is where I'm going to welcome Richa ma'am, some speakers, right? Of course, it will be on voluntary basis. So they can come off mute, and the one who is the first, I'll take that. Okay.
So we can, in this case, we can have their hands, they can raise their hands.
100%. And maybe if possible, fantastic. That is going to help us do it very flawlessly, right? In a very right and structured manner. Okay. So this is the first one. They can raise their hand and then we can ask them to come off mute. Wow.
Pavan. Yeah. Pavan.
Xbox.
What did you say?
Xbox.
You know what? You should know that I am a naughty professor. It's Xerox. Okay, fine. But I really appreciate that you tried. So remember, guys, this red color logo with 2 stripes is not Xbox. It's Xerox, a company known in the photocopying business. Okay, next one. You can raise your hand. Oh, wow. Was it Moksh? Moksh, go on.
AT&T.
What's the full form of AT&T, Moksh?
I don't know the full forms.
Wow, see, so it's about a gap. So that is American Telegraph.
It's a telecommunication company. I know that, sir.
Not telecommunication, it's American Telephone and Telegraph Company.
Okay, fine.
That's AT&T, but you get a point for that. Okay, the next one.
Xbox.
Now it's Xbox, correct? So now you see the difference between Xbox and Xerox. When you see the red color one, that is Xerox. When you see the green color one, that is Xbox. Okay, no confusion. Great learning. Now the next round is abbreviation. We have been using this quite a long time now, but sometimes we don't know what does it stand for. So let me make it very simple. I'll show you an abbreviation. You have to tell me the full form of that. Okay, raise your hand and then you get an opportunity to do so.
Tushar, Kehan.
Yeah, Tushar, you can.
Yeah.
You can take this, Tushar. You will have to come off mute. Yes, Tushar, I think he's trying. I can see that. Yes.
So it's a hotel brand. I'm just give me like I'm just able to recollect it.
No, Tushar, the managers, leaders have to perform under tremendous pressure. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tushar, you're out. Let's go on to the next one, ma'am. Risha, ma'am, let's go to the next one. Let's go on to the next one. So let me pick up, right? Let me pick up. Sandhya, come on, rapid fire round. Sandhya, you can be the next.
Yes, sir. On your own rooms.
Okay, fine. Sandhya could not come off mute, so on your own rooms. Fantastic. Now, this is a rapid fire. I may pick up, right? So guys, come on, raise yourself up. Okay? Come off mute and answer. Leaders need to be alert. They need to be spontaneous. Okay? So this is for you, Vidhi Sharma, PNR. Let Vidhi be the one to answer this, to take this one. If you don't know, just say no. That's it. Vidhi?
Passenger name record.
Wow. Amazing. Risha ma'am, thank you once again for connecting me to such talented learners, right? That's perfectly bang on. Passenger name record. Okay. So the next one in the line, again, a rapid fire. Pranay, I am sure you are there. Fasten your seatbelt, Pranay. Okay. So this is for you. Pranay, the next one is you need to identify this mascot associated with specific brand. Okay. And this is the one for you, Pranay.
Duracell.
Wow, Pranay. No time. Super happy. Right? That's Duracell. Super. Okay, the next one, again, not a rapid fire, but I can see all the hands up now. You have to put it down. Don't take that risk. Don't put your stakes, right? All in one place. So guys, first take off your hands so that, yes, perfect now. Okay. So what about this?
Bridgestone.
Yes, Risha, what do you think?
Sir, Bridgestone.
Did I ask you? You get minus, right? Unless we say that you are the first to answer, you get minus, right? So you get -1 wow card. Now you have to really give your best shot. It's called as adhering to the guidelines, right? Respecting the guidelines. So let me do this. Was that Astitwa who answered this?
I think it's Michelin.
Okay, fine. So we are taking that right now. But remember, once I call the name, then you take that question. Fine. The next one, just Tushar, if you can take your hands off so that, we know, fine, you are there to take the next question. Superb. I love that. Anyone? Okay. Moksh was the once again. I think let us give opportunity to Komal Gill. She has been trying to, really participate. Komal, to you.
Sir, Pringles.
Komal, you have been eating a lot of Pringles. I hope you're attending the lectures and not just eating Pringles, right? Paying respect to the professors in the class. Well, you have done perfectly right? Pringles. Superb. Now, all you have to do is, I'll show you a great personality, exceptional personalities. You all know, but you have to tell me the name of that particular personality and the name of the company they are associated with. Fine. So let me take this. Raise your hands. Let Risha ma'am take a call on this. Wait, do not answer unless we ask you to come off mute. Any possibility, Risha ma'am, where we can be sure of who was the first to raise the hand?
Sir, this one genuinely I could not really see. All of them are raising their hands.
Let us go by this. Risha ma'am, whatever you decide. One rapid from your end.
I would go with Prajesh Bell.
Fine. Yes. So, yes, I can see him there. Prajesh. Prajesh Bahel, can you come off mute and answer? Okay, fine. Or ma'am, we go on to the next one. So let's say I see Kehan Nushian. Can you take this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, go on.
He's Elon Musk. and he's associated with companies like Tesla and SpaceX.
Very nice. Tesla and SpaceX. Perfect. Now, guys, right? That's an easy one. Let me ask this, and I want someone to come off mute and then answer. Why is it even important to know if you were to go and work for an organization? Why should you be interested to know who's the founder? Why should you know about the founder? How does it make sense is what I wanted to learn from you. Come on, anyone? I can see all the hands up there. Akash, yes, you can take this. Or Prajesh, you can take this. Or Sandhya. Or Lakshay. Lakshay, yes, please go on, Lakshay.
To know the ideology of the company, what will be the vision and how will they work?
Unbelievable. Did you use the word vision? Superb. I love it, right? 100%. So what if you know the vision? So what? Is it that you are saying, and that is how you will have clarity in terms of how will you contribute and ensure the company accomplishes or realizes its vision with the people around in the company, right? Perfect. Okay, so to you, Lakshay, for answering it so well, you get a wildcard entry without raising your hand, without doing anything, without re-nominating. You need to identify this, okay?
Jeff Bezos.
And the company is associated with?
Amazon.
Okay. Lakshay, is it that you have taken admission at Universal Business School? Just wanted to know.
Yes.
Okay. Lakshay, this is for you again in a row. Okay. Lakshay, can you identify this great personality?
Tarun Anand, sir.
Wow. Very nice. That means you have done your homework. You are coming into the right place under the right leader. Superb. Kudos to you. You get a wow card. No doubts about it. Fine. So now let's switch the gears and let's talk about something more interesting. Let's have a deep dive. We are all connected here, right, for a reason. So let me understand from the audience out here, the learners out here, the aspiring leaders, right? The universal skills that are very critical for the 21st century leader. Now, what I'm going to do is, please do not exhaust the list, okay? If you're going to speak up, just give me one or two and randomly, and we have to be in sync. Okay, so let's see to it that we are all working as a team and without creating the noise. How can we just ensure that we are right there? Okay, so over to all the learners, just come off mute and tell me, what do you think? And again, I repeat my golden words. I'm asking for what skills are very imperative, what skills are critical for the 21st century leader. Okay, so over to the learners. And if you can come on video, superb. I would love that. Yes, you can start first Lakshay, if you want to. Or anyone for that matter. Ayush.
Sir, I think artificial intelligence is a skill which we will look forward in 21st century.
Okay, superb. Anything from you, Purna or Kehan?
And basic communication skills.
And this is for the leaders. Would you say basic communication skills? Would it be basic?
No, I mean high-level communication.
Okay. And Violina, Das, what's your take? Yes, what's your take? Or any other learner for that matter?
Being able to get ready for any kind of circumstances, as we saw coronavirus this time, and every business, like most of the business, were not able to cope up with it. So we should be ready for any kind of situation.
Superb. Okay. Needs to be agile. Very right. Anything from you, Ayush, Shaw?
Sir, as we all know that IQ is important, but I think EQ, we should also develop EQ in 21st century.
Wow, nice. So IQ, you will usually find that people with high IQ, right? They really do well. They really perform well. But if they are low on EQ, they don't get escalated. In fact, let me add to this forum. Other than IQ and EQ, post this pandemic, guys, do you know what has become even more important? It's called as AQ. It's adversity quotient. How would a leader behave when there is a crisis? And do you really think that a crisis has to be a pandemic? No. I know this is getting recorded. Let me give one or two examples. Do you recall one of our favorite brands, Maggie, had to go through crisis? Imagine the CEO then would be going through such a turbulent times of his life. So uncertain, right? Was that not a crisis? What about Cadbury's? we all remember the brand. It has gone through certain crisis. I'm not saying what crisis, but you all know that. Was it not a nightmare? So all I'm trying to say is that, yes, it's very important for a leader of tomorrow to understand what has worked in the past may not work in the future. Somebody did talk about artificial intelligence. I think that was really trying to capture in sense of data analytics or data science or business analytics or maybe anything in that space like machine learning. Okay, so let me take the list out. And I'm very happy. I'm super happy that I'm connected to the best of the best learners. So proud of you. So these are some of the skills. And definitely, if I ask you, can you tell me why did I put problem solving skills at the top? Can anyone give me a rationale for that? What do you think? Why would I do that?
Sir, problems are many and need to solve easily and quickly.
Very nice. And most importantly, right? Problems are not marketing problems or finance problems or HR problems or operations problems. Problems are organizational problems. Correct? And that is where, trust me on this, what the companies are looking for. A candidate with the potential, one who can identify the problem, and not just that, it doesn't serve the purpose, by the way. So you also have to provide strategic solution. And trust me, whichever industry you get into, whether it is in FMCG, whether it is in automobile, whether it is, let's say, biotech, whether it is healthcare, whether it is semiconductors, whether it is a company which is in oil and gas, all, whether it is insurance, whether it is banking, whether it is into aviation, all companies do have certain problems. And all they are looking for is the right talent who would use the strategic thinking and bring in some strategic solutions and value on the table. Okay, so that's what actually is topping the list. Now, I'll move on to my real theme of this particular webinar in a short while. But before I do that, I think it's time to ask some important and critical questions, right? Why should I even talk about this topic? What makes me talk about marketing in 21st century? And in fact, even a bigger question is, at 5 o'clock, right? After a taxing day, why should you be listening? Why should you be concerned as aspiring leaders to listen to what's going to be marketing in 21st century, right? And I think that is where you are interested to know and get to know why should we be speaking about it and why should you be listening about it, right? So in the very first place, I'm sure all of you would agree, the only thing that is constant is change. And we can see around us. It's not I'm relating this to pandemic, but if you have your eyes open, your mind open, if you have been updating yourself and you have been listening, not just to the media, but to all the business leaders, all you have been listening is that world is changing fast. Now we all know that. So what? When world is changing fast, we all need to understand it's not just that. We are all performing in unknown territories, in uncertain territories. But this is not how the business leaders define that world. All they are saying is that, hey, we are now really performing in a VUCA world. So let me put another question. I am 100% sure very few learners would know what is VUCA. So right now, I'm not going to have a deep dive into VUCA, but is there anyone who can tell me what is a VUCA world? What does we stand for? What does you stand for? And similarly for the other letters. Anyone on a very quick note without taking much time?
Sir, I guess volatility, uncertainty, and I was not able to recall C and A.
No worries. Well, I cannot give you a half wow card, right?
Sorry.
Yes. Okay. Is there someone else who wants to take this?
Yes, sir.
Please take it.
Volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity.
Super, bang on. And definitely you get a wow card. Okay. Now every leader in every forum, don't mind my words, everyone has been giving these high talks. We're all in the VUCA world. It's understood. I have been just talking about, oh fine, we know the problem. That is not the problem. The problem is, do you have a solution? Please understand that. Just identifying a problem is not going to help. Okay, the diagnosis of the problem is not going to help. Knowing the root cause of the problem is not just going to help. You also need to bring in the right strategic solution. And that is where I'm not going to talk about the VUCA world, but all I'm going to address to the passionate learners is that this type of organizations who believe they are in the VUCA world, all they need is not the leaders. All they need is you. It's really in terms of understanding How can they be resilient, right? How can they be agile? How can they be a multitasker? How can they ensure that the performance does not go down, even when they are required to perform in an uncharted territory, in an unknown territory? And that is where the future is. A leader who understands this world, and not just understanding, but also can deliver in that world. So what is that the organizations are demanding for is the VUCA leadership. So with that, we can definitely take one lesson home, is that if organizations really intend to be competitive and want to stay relevant in this ever-changing world, then all they need to do is they need to embrace change. Because I just started that what is really constant in today's world is change. And I personally make a very bold statement: when everything is changing, then change everything. Now with that, I'll bring you to the theme of the webinar, and this is a Universal Business School initiative. And through this webinar, I'm not going to speak, but ensure to provoke you or to trigger you, right? Give you certain trigger points or certain hinters so that you start thinking differently. And I can actually orient the mindset from just thinking to strategic thinking. And that is what you will be paid in an organization. You will not just be paid for thinking. You will have to bring in more value, and you cannot do that. You will have to bring in solutions, and you cannot do that if you are just thinking. Thinking does not work. So let us shift the gears from thinking to strategic thinking, and let us stick to the theme of the webinar, which is tapping into 21st century marketing. And you know what? This is important for people like you. This is important for aspiring managers like you, because you are going to be, or some of you are going to be, a new age marketer. Now, before I start, I'm pretty sure there is an impression, hey, I am going to take finance. Why should I care? Oh, I am going to take operations. Why should I take care? So before I start this, let me again repeat my golden words. I repeat, problems are not domain problems. Problems are organizational problems, right? So you can always pick up some good practices from marketing. You can always pick up some good practices from finance. And remember, it's not the divisions or it's not the functions that help an organization achieve its success or its vision. As rightly said by one of the learners, it is the collaborative effort of all the departments, of all the functions that have to come together to achieve that single vision. And that is what we are going to talk about. Now, let me surprise you. So I would not name the company. Just think of a story. Just think about as if this is live in front of you. And trust me, this is what is happening. It is very important for you to know that there is a dialogue. There is an intense dialogue happening between the CEO who is leading the company and a marketing manager who is also a critical position into an organization. Now, what is the dialogue? The dialogue is not good. The dialogue is very disappointing. The CEO is saying, the marketing manager, hey, I am disappointed. Now, that's not a good start. That's not a good start of the day. That is not going to make your day. I'm 100% sure, rather I'm 1000% sure, each one of you are thinking that, why would a CEO make that statement? Well, all you are interested now is, why is the CEO disappointed? Well, it's not a person-related problem, okay? So let me be bold. I know this is on recording, but let me not speak something from the books. Let me talk from my experiences. Let me talk from my observational skills. And that is what I'm going to talk about, right? So I will bring in value, not from the books, but from the real learnings of life. Now, you need to understand the CEO is not just disappointed with the marketeer. It's not a person-related problem. He is really pissed off with the marketing department and the marketeer, correct? So look at the larger picture, look at the bigger picture. Now, what is very important when I listen to this dialogue, all that comes to my mind is a great saying by one of the management gurus. Of course, there are many like Philip Kotler, Michael Porter, right? But there is a known management guru, Peter Drucker. Do read his books, right? When time permits. And there is a very, very excellent quote coming in from him, which reads as, what gets measured gets managed. And this is one such big area of concern. What's happening with the marketeers and the marketing department is they have failed to deliver on measurable results. Just link it to what I just talked about, right? The CEOs now are viewing marketing department as an expense and not as an investment. For example, in HR, training is to be seen as an investment and not as an expense, right? Similarly, there was a time And I think now time has changed, right? Where marketing department was actually seen as an investment, but the bad news is it is now seen as an expense. And I think this is where the concern lies, right? So marketing, which was seen as a critical expenditure, the entire story of the organization, the entire business plan was completely dependent on that, now is to be seen as a cost sink. What's going wrong? Let us understand. And this will come from you. I know you have not done much of marketing, but I'm 100% sure you can use your common senses when I ask these critical questions. I'm sure the audience is all set right. So let me ask this. What is very important as management issues for a CEO is how to retain the customers, is how to avoid the price wars, and how to ensure innovation-led growth. Now, but what is happening is completely the reverse. What is happening? The marketeers and the marketing department, they are thinking from a different lens. When they are looking at certain problems, they are looking at different problems altogether. So they fail to understand what are the actual leading management issues that tops the agenda of a CEO. So let us understand. Guys, if you recall in telecom industry, I'm not talking about the hardware. I'm talking about, let's be very specific, certain players in the telecom industry. Do you recall 10 years back, who was dominating that space? Which company? Yeah, a British organization, if you remember. I'm sure you remember the pug. Vodafone. Yes. And other than that, were there few other players who were also dominating that space?
Idea, Bharti Airtel.
Yes. I love the outside world. Were they not there?
Reliance CDMA.
And now, yes, and which was again a big failure, right?
Yes.
Right? But now, who is the big daddy in the game? Who is the real giant?
Reliance Jio.
Reliance Jio.
Mota bhai.
Then what was happening? What was happening at other companies? To get the customers back, they were coming up with aggressive call plans. Don't you think such moves are tactical? They are going to be very transient. There are going to be temporary benefits out of that. It's not strategic, right? Or you throw in some promotions, maybe with the retailers or maybe with the consumers. But you may win the market share back, but this is not how you have to look at business. This is temporary. The CEOs is looking from completely a different angle. They are concerned about, oh my God, we had so many customers at Vodafone and now they were converted to Airtel, and from Airtel now they have moved to Jio. Guys, is this not a similar case in the banking industry? Would you not agree with me? Would you not agree with me? I am sure you would, right? If given a chance. Now, what we are talking about is that every CEO understands and definitely speaks loud about this, that my company cannot grow without innovation. Innovation is a must to take my company from here to the desired state, to the desired position. Can I ask you, can you give me few companies, few organizations, they were there for last 100 years. You have experienced certain products and services, but eventually they turned out to be a fiasco. Can you give me some companies who have massively failed?
Nokia.
BlackBerry.
Wow, Nokia. And if it is there, very much there, aligned, of course, I'll think of a recognition. Nokia. What else? BlackBerry. Wow, I love that. What else? Come on, guys, you can. Girls, come on, buck up. Let not only boys give the answers. You can also do it.
Ambassador.
And
SpiceJet.
Ambassador.
Any other companies?
SpiceJet, sir.
Okay, so let me take the cat out of the bag, right? What about Motorola?
So it was bought by Lenovo, right?
See, so yes, exactly. A company which actually pioneered mobile phones. That company, right, which was not just the first mover. Forget about being the first mover. The company which was a pioneer is nowhere. Absolutely nowhere, right? Look at this. Do you remember all the magical moments of your life, whether with your parents, and let me not say whom all, right? You know, friends, and then you know whom all, right? So that is where Kodak played a very important role in your life, correct? It also failed for certain reasons, right? And then what about Nokia? As you rightly said, it failed. Was it not dominating the global telephone space in terms of the mobile handsets? Have you not really seen Nokia everywhere? With every single consumer, we have seen that. And what about Blockbuster. Well, few students may know little about it, but they were more into when, of course, they could manage the change from VHS to DVDs. Okay, can I ask one question now? And now if you answer, Risha ma'am, all they get is 2 wow cards. Guys, are you listening to me? Yes, I did not mix up my words. I'm in my senses. Yes, I'm making a right commitment, a promise that if you answer it now, you get 2 wow cards. Why did Kodak fail? What do you think? What's your understanding?
To make mobile phone came into the game with cameras, right?
Okay.
No, in a way.
With good
To
camera.
a great extent. Yes, Sandhya. Oh, wow. I see Sandhya Mete raising her hand. Sandhya, go on. Over to you.
Kodak wasted time promoting the use of film cameras instead of emulating its competitor.
So are you saying that they should have gone into the digital revolution? They should have invented, you know what?
Yes,
Let me surprise everyone out here. Everyone. But Sandhya, in the first place, right? In the first place, I really, really appreciate it takes a lot of efforts, right? To speak up in the forum when everyone is connected and especially we don't know them much, right? So in fact, you know, there was an engineer in Kodak, Steve Sassoon. He was the first to invent, I repeat my golden words, I'm speaking in my senses. He was the first to invent a digital camera. But if you look at the business model of Kodak, it was not just generating revenue and profits on the camera, they were generating it on the camera films. It is a photography company, right? So they never wanted to disrupt that. And that is where, rather than disrupting themselves, they allowed somebody else to disrupt and they died. So are you getting this? They were the first to come up with the digital camera, but they could not do much. What happened with Nokia, right? A company which was based in Finland was doing great. The focus was what? The focus was too much on hardware. The focus, they could not understand. The first company, by the way, in cellular network in the world, right? But the focus was too much on what? Was on voice. And other companies, other telecom companies realized that the future is not voice. The future is data. So Nokia remained in their nutshell with a bunker mentality, rigid mindset, and they were always focusing on the hardware side. And that is where they could not focus on the software side, and they lost it to others. Are you getting this? This is where, you know, companies need to realize they should be willing to bring in a change. Guys, don't you agree? Nokia had excellent opportunity to bring in some revolution.
It shifted from Symbian to Android, right, sir?
Sorry?
Right now, whatever Nokia phones are coming out, they are all selling Android phone right now. Before it was Symbian.
Symbian was their own
invention.
Correct?
That's why they failed, I think.
Yes. So they could not create the experience, right? They could be the first to lead that, building consumer experience. And what went wrong with Nokia? It's not just the Symbian thing, right? Then Nokia was acquired by Microsoft. Why would Microsoft acquire? Were they really interested in selling mobile phones? Not at all. They were interested in selling Windows. Please understand that, right? They wanted to enhance their customer base through this particular strategic logic, okay? And that is where, but it failed. That's the question, because all these companies could see the change coming. It's not that they could not see the change coming, but they were not willing to disrupt all they have been doing, and they allowed others to disrupt them. And that is where they don't exist. Now, let me shift the gears.
Just
yes,
one
please.
doubt.
Yes, please.
I think Nokia didn't introduce, or they didn't intentionally put Windows there. I think Nokia was failing and then Microsoft bought it and then they put Windows in there. So I think Microsoft failed, not the brand Nokia, I guess.
No, so what we are trying to say is that Nokia was the first company to bring in Symbian. Like we keep talking about, they did not bring in an operating system, they did, right? But it wasn't user-friendly. Right? And they were very rigid that they will not switch to Android. Correct? Where Android, we all experience that. So they were very rigid. No, we are not going to switch to Android. What has happened? They tried, but the focus was always on the hardware and not much on building the experience of the user. So what happened when they got acquired? They got acquired by Microsoft. The reason was not the hardware just, right? The reason was because Microsoft wanted to sell Windows-based phones. Correct? That is what we are trying to deliberate on this particular topic. And when you come to UBS, of course, through case studies and through very intellectual discussions, round tables, right, through board meetings, we do give you immersive experience. But right now, the focus is not that. So I'm just shifting the gears in the interest of time. What would you think of in the next bucket to the right-hand side, companies which have been really taking innovation seriously? Can you name a few companies there?
Apple.
Apple, okay, fine. Apple was it not the first company? So one at a time, right? Look at Nokia, look at Apple. Was Apple not the first company to bring in a mobile phone without a keypad? Is it not revolutionary? Is it not revolutionary? Did BlackBerry did not fail? I mean, is it not the case where BlackBerry also failed, right? So yes, 100% Apple as one of the most innovative companies in the world. What else?
Godrej.
One at a time. We will have to manage this for sure. Amazon, superb. Yes, Amazon has been able to innovate. A company which was just selling books, right? They got into whatnot, right? You name it and they have it. What else?
Facebook.
Facebook, yes. Google, yes. Superb, Rishana. Once again, a big thank you. See, I'm not doing any magic. It is all done by the learners here. Yes, please, go on.
Tesla, SpaceX.
Superb. Okay, so I will not be taking questions for sure, but let me first present what others are thinking. Yes, Google is very much there in that space, and other than Google, you have many other companies, to name a few, which came in from the learners. Tesla, and we did see Elon Musk is really creating a lot of revolutions, by the way. Netflix, right, which was nowhere, a company, right, which was nowhere, and now you know that they are now dominating that space. IBM, which was completely into hardware, which was completely a product company, and then moved to providing solutions. They were always looking at the bigger picture. Was IBM not looking at this? 100% yes. Did they see the change coming? 100% yes. But what did they do? They did not have the inertia, right? They could see the market drift, but they were well prepared. They were ready to challenge their own company. They were ready to challenge their own people. They were ready to challenge their own processes. And most importantly, they were ready to challenge their own business model. They disrupted themselves rather than allowing somebody else to do it. Wow, what a classic example there, right? And then what about 3M? I'm 100% sure, don't mind, don't take my words in other ways, right? All I'm trying to say is that many learners out here don't even know about this company. It is one of the most innovative companies in the world. So what if you get a chance to do an internship and they're not going to pay you? All I would say is have no second thoughts. Grab the opportunity, because once you work for companies like 3M, then you don't have to look for a job. People will look for you. And that is the power of such great organizations. Now, coming to a very critical question. So all the marketeers, and why just marketeers? I think every single functional leader should think about this. What is at the top of the CEO's agenda? Is it driving growth through innovation? 100% yes. Then what are we doing? And is it just innovation? No, it is also how to alleviate pricing pressures. Don't mind my words, guys. When I was in the field, I could see every competitor playing on price. Whenever a customer would open up a dialogue, the first thing they will offer, rather than the merits of the product, was price. And it was leading to what? A game, a war, a bloody war. Not good. Everybody was compromising on their margins, and it impacted the profitability in that industry. And that is how you will find that some industry, they are losing on their profitability and they are losing on their attractiveness, right? So what is very important when you are in the market, remember, the companies are not looking for tacticians. What is that the tacticians do? The tacticians talk about price. The tacticians talk about discounts. The tacticians talk about sale. And this is what the tacticians do. Companies are least interested. Why? Because you will not be able to help the company meet its profitability. You will not be able to help the company reach its business objectives. You will not be able to help the company realize its vision. What is very important? You should not think like a tactician. You should think like a strategist, and don't forget, and also like an innovator. That's very important. That's very important. Now, the lessons we need to draw is what's happening in most of the business schools. Don't mind my words. And what's happening in most of the books. We are still talking about a marketing plan. Well, that is not the area of worry. I'm 100% sure you've not got into the program, but you know about the 4 Ps. Everyone is talking about the same 4 Ps. As if we are in a circus juggling with these 4 pieces, right? product plays price promotion. Maybe a marketeer in one organization plays well with the product, and a company which is a rival company plays well with promotion. This is not going to help you. I'm not saying that the 4 P's are not important, but this is a myth that only 4 P's are important. And this is the problem. The moment you look from the lens of a product or place or price or promotion, then you will become a tactician. You need to understand marketing department has a bigger role to play. So what do you need to do? You first need to completely come out of this particular box and think differently. Okay. And that is where now, because we are juggling with the 4 P's, CEOs, they have started doubting, can the marketeer or my marketing department handle these challenges? And what are the challenges? The challenges are, can we bring in innovation into an organization? Can I retain the customers? Can I elevate the price points? And these are the challenges which marketeers and the marketing department is not giving importance to. What is happening when you don't do that? You will find very few people from marketing department. And take my words, I've seen this in the past, where most of the times the marketeers will actually scale up to the rank of a chief executive officer. This is not happening. The companies are not looking for an internal talent. All they are doing is bringing in leader from some other industry or maybe from a rival company. And that is where it is impacting the growth of marketing and the entire marketing department. Now, what is very important is, it's not that you have lost the game. You should not put your guns down. All you have to do is think again, re-strategize, refocus, right? And all you have to do is ask a very important question. The question is how to recapture the strategic role in the firm. Again, I repeat, don't connect with marketing. It can be for any business function. All business functions are critical. Remember my keywords. Let me ask now, few learners out here, another question. So how to get back on CEO's agenda? Can I get Mr. Parmar or maybe Viraj or maybe Sinha, anybody to answer this? What do you think? Since, you have been listening to this story. Yes, Moksha, you are on mute, I think. If you can just come off mute, great.
How to get back on CEO's agenda? Sir, as you told, people are looking for innovation, elevated prices. This, two of the points. So I think so, sir. First of all, analysis is one of the major key points which can help us for this agenda.
Okay, great, well taken. And guys, this is a time where you can gain your visibility, right? Your spotlight, so that you form an impression. When you come to the class, I know, wow, there is going to be a quality question from this particular learner. Come on, don't miss this opportunity. Anyone else? At least one input, maybe from the learners.
Actually, sir, I think adapting the change in market would be the great step.
Okay, so you are saying that the marketer will have to be adaptable, flexible enough to adapt to the changes.
Adapt to the change in advertising and innovating.
Super. So all we are asking, what are we asking, right? The same question. How can a marketer capture the imagination of a CEO, right? What is that the marketer can do to really regain that prominent role which once was dominated by them? But now it looks very dicey. It looks very turbulent. Marketeers need to tackle the issues, not that really has to capture their attention, but they have to look at what is that the CEOs are looking for, what is on their agenda, what are the management issues and challenges, what is that they are looking from, and I think from that lens, they have to address the issues. And this is where, it all boils down to what? To something that somebody just talked about. Sorry, I don't recall the name, that marketing will have to adapt. So guys, this is where we need to understand we are in the 21st century. It is light years different from what it was in the 20th century. When I kick-started, I did say that what worked in the past may not work now. What is working now for the companies, take my words, will not work in the future. When I say that, I'm not saying after 10 years, I'm saying after a couple of months. So companies, the leaders, and all functions will have to be adaptable. And this is where that makes a difference. Why? Because all we are witnessing is the challenge of change. Now, what I'm going to do is, because we are witnessing this, and one of the biggest challenge we are seeing is the marketeers are having a very traditional approach. They don't know much about new technologies. They don't know much about what's happening in the outside world. And this is creating the biggest challenge. Take my words, do a survey, reach out to the marketeers. Of course, no disrespect, okay? Of course, respecting, because I am also from the field of marketing, right? But many marketeers today fails to understand what is the power of business analytics. How is business analytics impacting the business world? Are they willing to spend some time to take some courses or get into a program, come off from their routine, do something about it, find that 25th hour and bounce back in the corporate world, right? That's not happening. And they are not willing to do it, but the world is changing fast. This is one key example. So what is happening? Most of the decisions that are to be taken are not to be taken on the basis of your guts or your sixth sense or your intuitions. It has to be backed by your data. And that is where you can proudly say, yes, these are my informed decisions and they are based on certain data. And that is where data analytics, data science, business analytics, machine learning, all that can make a difference. And there are many such other areas. Now, if you are to be a consumer, I'm sure you will agree, we are all in a dire situation. What is happening? Now, don't mind, including me, we are all impatient. Ask a particular student to wait for a product. He would not wait. He wants to make a decision now and then. What is happening is we are all time poor. We don't have time, though we have it, but we don't have it. That's really the beauty of the game, right? We are very demanding. You are going to pay less, but you want more. So more for less is the game. Can a company really do this and still be profitable? That's another big challenge. What is happening? Guys, if you would come to me, if I were to be a salesperson, and let's say Parmar comes to me for buying a mobile phone, you know what is the worst part? He knows more than the salesperson. Oh my goodness, what do I do about such customers? Because information is just available. It's accessible. What's happening in some other part of the world, within seconds you get to know that, right? And all this is creating a lot of challenge. So I see question coming in from Rishikesh. Maybe he raised his hand. I'm sorry for that. Yes, Rishikesh, because this is not a dialogue or a script, so you can just shoot your question.
Yes, sir. Actually, in the start of this session, you told that a marketing department is considered to be a cost center, right?
Yes. So I'm saying that rather than seeing as an investment, it is now seen as an expense.
But now, as you just stated, like suppose you are a person who is selling phones, but the person whom you're selling it to is completely aware of all the products available outside in the market. So anyone who considers marketing at that point of stage would consider it to be a cost center, because suppose even if I go to someone and then try to sell them a product, if there's no, online awareness about the brand that I'm selling or the product, or he's not acquainted with any products that are available in the market, he would just listen to me and then move on. Okay. But if he goes through that stages, like he first comes to know about the brand on some Facebook or something, social media site, or he sees an advertise which is there on the internet, and then later on he meets a salesperson who then tells him about the same brand, then gives him a personal touch, like how he uses it or how many people use it. That time a customer is more, lean towards buying that particular product. Would you consider the same to be true?
Okay, Rishikesh, in the very first place, truly love that, right? And I'm sure you could witness my listening skills, right? Where I allow you to speak, analyze, and then come back, okay?
Yeah.
What is happening? If I ask you this question, take any product of your choice, take any brand of your choice, let it be in any space.
Okay, let's just say a smartphone as we are going with it.
Fine. So let's pick up smartphones, and let me ask you, who's the brand endorser for Vivo? Don't take the stress. Don't think too much. It's you. Yeah. If you are using it.
Yes.
So we are the brand advocates. When I say that Parmar is information rich, is this information really coming in because of the efforts of a marketeer? The answer to that is a big no. The answer is it is coming in from a community. That community is not paid. There is no commercial angle to that. All that is coming is there is a lot of discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is a lot of comparison. A customer today may not be willing to buy an Apple phone, but knows anything and everything about the phone. Let me say this. My kid, I'm 100% sure he's too small, right? To have a phone in the first place. Fine. But he knows more than I would know. Is he a customer? No. Did the marketing department reach him? No. Did the advertisements reach him? A big no. All I'm trying to say is that when he is with the friends, all they are discussing is all about this. So he knows me. I mean, of course, he knows more than me. It's not that I'm orthodox or I don't keep myself updated, but he has better connections than I would. Okay. So all I'm saying is that when you go to a salesperson, you know more than the salesperson does. And that is where it has changed the game completely. Right? Sometimes they don't have the answers. And that's the reason, when you buy a phone from an Apple gallery, they are so well trained. And that is where they can actually make a difference then and there itself, right? Because there is somebody to give you information and they are so well trained. So if you were to buy an Apple phone, let's say from Amazon or from a retailer who keeps all the different brands and from an exclusive Apple store, take my words, your buying experience, the price may be the same. Your buying experience will be much better, more enhanced, you'll be more satisfied, rather delighted when you buy it from an exclusive store. Why? Because they know anything and everything about that. The chances are very high. The probability is on the higher side. And that is what we are trying to say. That the consumer today, see, what is launched in America may not have launched in India, but I know about it. Correct? The marketers have not done it, but that is how the world is. We are all connected. We are all connected, and that is posing a challenge. So the next one, you have more choices, which you never had. Earlier, how many choices you had, but now look at, guys, let's not even talk about it. Let's not even talk about it, right? You have ample of choices, a state of confusion. And what is happening? Everyone as a consumer is really showcasing completely different spending patterns. How your parents spend, how you are spending, how the next generation will spend, and how we are spending, how we spent last month, how we are spending in the current situation, how will you be spending in the next month? It's very unpredictable, right? So that is another challenge. Very difficult to map. The biggest secret to decode is a consumer code. Never try to crack it, right? You may be confident, but trust me on that, you may not be right about it. The most complex and complicated of all the living beings on earth is we human beings. I know this is getting recorded, but let me not shy away from stating that. So what is happening? Parma says that I'll pay this much, but I need a better quality. I need better services. So pay less and ask for more. And I think that is what is happening, right? So what we have to understand is that the marketeers, do they understand? If this is true, if we cannot know much about the consumers, but is the data available? That is what Rishikesh was trying to say. Can we apply those superior insights and then basis that superior insights? Because you cannot reach out to me if I were to be sitting in Germany, and maybe a customer in India may not reach out to somebody in Russia. So can there be a data center? Can there be a data point? Can you derive some meaningful insights and then take your decisions basis that? Correct? And that can make a difference. Well, many companies have done it. So please understand what the companies are learning about customers and what they offer. There is a big gap. There is a big gap. And that is where the customers are not demonstrating loyalty. Look at when was the last time you switched a brand. Let's not discuss about it. Okay. So just offering a product which is a standard product is not going to help, is not going to be really providing value and profits to the organization. So what is that the marketers needs to do? Are you selling a phone? Not, you are in the right game. You have to provide a solution, right? So that is where there needs to be a strategic shift, a tectonic shift from changing the mindset from just providing a product to providing solutions. That's important. Solutions is a larger umbrella. Always keep that in mind. Product is just a product. Again, then you're talking about the 4 P's of marketing, right? So whenever you devise a strategy, you have to put the customer at the center of that. So your strategies need to be customer centric. And when I say that, what it means, you need to interact with the customer. It may be in the social world, it may be in the virtual world, it may be in real times, it can be through a market research agency, but unless you interact with the customer, you will never ever be able to capture the superior insights which will help you create products that will meet their requirements. And that's very important. Now that's the biggest challenge in such a big populated world. How do you interact? But trust me, that's a problem, but it is not impossible, right? Every customer interaction, now how can you map that, is a precious resource. This interaction is also a precious resource. Remember that. And we have to map it. How was this session? Was it good enough? Then I have to take the feedback and with an open mind, need to think about, oh, it was not good. what should I do? If I would not have an open mind and if I would not try to bridge the gap, I would not be able to deliver better results. I will not be able to create exceptional educational experience, maybe for the next webinar or maybe in the next class. So take things with a pinch of salt, take it with an open mind, interact. So for me, it's not that you're a customer, but you are a very important source to know, is it working or is it not working? And I think that matters a lot. So this is what is happening, right? This is how customers are in touch with each other. The best companies always will find ways. They will not debate about this is costly or we cannot do that. But to reach out to the real voices of their customers, they will reach out to them even if it is an expensive game. They will offset that cost in terms of profits in the longer run. That is how leaders think. And that is not how the tacticians they think. It is the strategists they think like that. Okay, now nearing the end of my presentation, all that we need to understand is that this is the time where marketer needs to shift their gears from just merely providing products and comparing with their competitive brands to providing real consumer experience. And I think this is where companies like Apple fall into the play. This is where Tesla will fall into the play. This is where Google will fall into the play. And this is where all innovative companies will actually be seen in the same bucket. And that is what they are doing. So what we need to understand is that the companies need to come together, right? In terms of their own internal departments and see to it that they are not focused on products, but providing solutions. And this is where all those transitions, all the initiatives that are to be taken by the organization, I just talked about the departments, should not be transactional. It should be transformational. That's the key. That's very important. And while I'm nearing the end of my presentation, right, few lines on a company, right, Procter & Gamble. Can I ask this question? Rishikesh, maybe you can be the first to take it. What do you think makes Procter & Gamble number one globally? Okay, I repeat my words. What makes Procter & Gamble number one in the FMCG space?
I think the diversification of their products. They have a huge product line which goes
if
from
that is
any
true,
normal
if that is
person.
true, if that is true, then ITC should also be number one.
But ITC marks their product at the same price range. But when you go to Procter & Gamble, you see someone buying a Procter & Gamble product in a village, even in urban areas.
Is
and
that
I think
true?
that is...
If that is true, so I change my question. When it comes on a global map, Procter & Gamble is number one. But when it comes to India, it's not Procter & Gamble.
Yeah, it's not Procter & Gamble. But
it is Hindustan Unilever Limited.
Yeah.
Correct? Are you saying that the products of P&G are superior as compared to Hindustan Unilever Limited?
No, that's not my, because I am not sure, like I can't just say on each product line, but I think they're pretty much the same, like.
Okay, they're at par. They're at par,
right? Yeah.
So what makes them number one globally? Why do you know about P&G products? Okay, let me simplify for you, right? What makes you know about Procter & Gamble? Yes, Prajesh Bell, I think. Did you raise your hand, Prajesh?
I hope I'm audible.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, some problem with my microphone. So yes, it's basically the purpose that they bring into the place. So when I talk about P&G and Unilever, they serve a purpose.
And what is that purpose? Is it touching lives of millions of consumers?
Of course.
Is that the purpose?
Of course it is, because they are into healthcare, and the products that they are providing are are giving an ease to are easily available also, and giving ease to people. And then they are in a sector in which we need to take care of what we are serving, what benefit we are giving to the society. So that is what I feel brings it gives an edge.
So rather than saying benefits, can I better say how are they creating value?
Exactly,
because
bringing values and principles.
Right, Rajesh?
Yes.
We never buy products. To be very honest, we never buy products, right? We always seek value. So with that, can I take your permission and make a big statement, which actually I'm not making. I think it was made by one such big leader, A.G. Lafley, right? A leader who's known for taking or transforming the company and growing it by leaps and bounds. He once said that we are not banking on things getting better. We are banking on us getting better. What a deep meaning. When you go back, take my words, rethink, again think about this statement. it can change your life. And this is where you can contribute a lot. But having said that, the lesson we have to draw from this is that please understand, most of the learners, or rather, let me not shy away from saying that most of the professors, they say that Procter & Gamble is number one because of its marketing capability. That's not true. It is great because all its functions are customer focused. It's not just marketing. Of course, the product is available, but don't tell me that's the job of a marketer. That is where you need the right logistics and supply chain management to make the right product available at the right place, in the right time, at the right price. Correct? So it is not one. Again, I repeat, guys, don't get it wrong, right? With the marketing, I'm again repeating my golden words, right? Every function is critical. Every function is critical. And that is where they need to collaborate to do what? Not to create product. Otherwise, it should be seen as a production company. It should be all functions will come together to create what? To create value. That is one such big lesson that you need to draw. And let me put on to this one. So what is that the companies are doing, right? The companies should understand that a customer is not just reaching out to a distributor or to a retailer or to a TV advert, right? Every single area of the organization can be a single touch point. For example, don't mind. Let's say that, let me not boast myself about it or I'm bragging it. Assume, because right now we are connected, you don't know about other colleagues. They are superb than me, right? Suppose if I am one of the best professors, right? And you love this session, for example, right? But when you hit the campus and the person at the gate misbehaves with you, would you really say, wow, this is the best place? I think you will form a negative impression. All I'm trying to say is that it's not just teaching and delivery or assessments. Every single interaction of you with the admin department, with the infrastructure team, with the security guard, even with all the staff, right, is a touch point. So all of us has to come together to create that value for our learners. And that is the most important stakeholders in any organization. If not in other places, at least for UBS, 100%. So what we have seen, why are these companies known? And you have quoted few of this, right? Do you think Coca-Cola is great because of its marketing? Come on. What if it was well marketed? I would hit a particular retail outlet and somebody says, sorry, sir, it's not available. Can I offer you a Pepsi? Then what? Have your marketing efforts gone in vain? So please understand, it is not just a marketing game. Every organization will have to think about how can we come together. It's not just marketing efforts. So what is very important? How can we collaborate with the employees, with the suppliers, with the distributors, with the vendors? When you do that, and when you look at things from such a lens and look at the bigger picture, then the company is bound to grow. Now with that, coming on to the final one, and I'm sure you can see that, why is it important for marketers and marketing department to again rise as a superhero? Well, that is not the question. The point is what they need to do. I'm sure now you would agree that marketing function should be seen as a transformational engine and not just a department or not just a function, right? They need to be seen as change agents and they need to prove their leadership role in not transactional but transformational initiatives. And that is what will make the difference. Very important is that they need to convince the top management, they need to convince all the other departments, they have to prove their unique capabilities, resources and skills, and how can that actually lead to innovation. Of course, not just with isolation, in a collaborative manner, in collaboration with other departments, but that's the key. And then what is also important to understand is that marketing as a discipline has to become more strategic. So guys, next time when you are maybe done with a program, when you are in the field, a precious dose of advice is never sell on price. Then you will be a tactician. So you have to see to it that are you really providing things as a tactician or as a strategist? So strategists always look into the long term. A tactician will always be focused in the short-term benefits and it should be cross-functional. Just marketing department cannot bring in value. You have to involve, engage, and then you create the desired impact, right? And no company can survive. Come on, we are not in the charity business, guys, right? Of course, you do CSR activities. That's a different story. But what is important at the end of the day, are you hitting the bottom line? Are you having that kind of an orientation? So remember, if you will not take care of your customer, 100%, your competitor will. So all the lessons that we draw, this is the last piece. Maybe possibly this is a good news for every learner who was saying Professor Tandon has been talking about a lot, but I think I've gave the opportunity to make it more interactive. So this is my personal saying that if every department in an organization should be considered as a marketing department, then what do we need to do? We should stop really focusing on product or services, rather provide solution. My second lesson from my end would be provide overall consumer experience and not just the product experience. Look at the bigger picture. Look at the future. Okay? Offer value and not price. Talk on merits. Talk on solutions and not just on price. You will reduce the price and there will be a bandwagon effect by other rivals. There is no end to that game. It's a bloody war. Don't get into that. Okay? Don't sell. That's the problem. When I was talking to Rishikesh, it should not be selling, right? It should be help your customers buy, become an advocate, become a brand advocate, right? And that is where become a brand consultant and help your customers make a decision and don't just push. That's very important. And retain customer loyalty. Otherwise, it's of no value. So can you shift the mindset of your marketeers and marketing department from promotions, giving discounts, prices, to actually becoming customer-focused leaders? That's very important. And finally, all I have to say is that in a nutshell, and this is very important, that marketing in 21st century can ensure that their brand will not be converted into commodity if they follow on these guidelines. With that, I would love to take you to the end of the session. I hope there were some learnings, and that is what I talked about in my introduction, that I was transforming business, and now at UBS, all I have to do is transforming lives. So that is where I will end it. I'll ask for permission from Richa so that I know if I have overshoot on time or if I can take more questions. Over to you, Richa.
Sure. So I would actually ask all the learners if there is any query, maybe one or two of them, then we can definitely take it at this point. Otherwise, we would like to wind up the class. Is there any queries?
And they can have my email ID, which is very much there on the slide deck.
Yes. Okay, so I don't think we have any more questions because it was in it. I think Rishikesh has a query.
Yes.
Yeah, Rishikesh.
Let's take that.
Yes, sir. As we spoke about Amazon, I think it is more customer focused, and that's why it grew. And then now currently they consider the customer service department as a fixed cost. Hopefully in the future we consider the marketing department a fixed cost too, as you stated.
That was a good one, Rishikesh. That was a good one. Absolutely.
Because I got it
from that lens.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, sir.
That was a very valuable input. Good analysis. And this is what leaders do, right? Critical analysis.
Great. Thank you, Rishikesh. Professor Tandon, it was an amazing, I would say, overwhelming interactive session. Thank you so much. And to all the learners also, you all have been, I would say, active learners. So I really want all the learners, just in one word, if you would say anything about this masterclass, what would that be? Can you just put it in the chat box? I would really want to see that. Just in one word.
And then most important would be honest, guys. Come on. Yeah. I take it with a very open mind, right? Leave some scope for improvement, please.
Correct. Just one word from everybody. Okay, Prajesh says it's enlightening, informative, nice. Great.
Your feedback matters.
Absolutely. Amazing. So thank you so much, Professor Tandon. It was, as I said, it was a pleasure to be in this masterclass. And to all the learners here, we are coming up with another masterclass on 23rd of this month, which is the next Wednesday. And we will be keeping you posted via email. So just keep your eyes on your inbox. Thank you very much, everybody. Good evening.
Thank you, Risha ma'am. Indeed, the pleasure was mine. So I'm signing off. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. And all the best to all the learners for their future endeavors.
Thank you, sir.